Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Into the Storm. Today we have a special guest, an old friend from college days. So this is maybe our third guest from the college days, and we were just talking about which college that was.
Northern Arizona University.
Arizona University.
Harvard of the West.
There we go. So for all you people out there that ever knock Northern Arizona University, just hit up Noah, DiPasquale, and myself, and we'll give you the list of people that are successful in this town that all went there, that was in our fraternity, maybe. So the reason I wanted Noah on here, so we always say this is a podcast for real estate technically, but it's really also for people doing cool things in the Valley, and just happens to be that most of those people are my friends. So, which is really cool. So I'm able to kind of celebrate their successes and talk about it, and to our listeners get to enjoy it and maybe even be a part of it. So before we get into what Noah does, what everybody that listens is going to wish they did, I'm just going to give a little history upon like how we know each other. So obviously we were both at NAU. Mm-hmm. He was a couple years younger than me, and then joined our fraternity, Delta Chi. But how did you get in touch with, because Josh Hart was really the connection, I think, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I thought fraternities were the worst, and Josh and another friend, Matt, decided to twist our arm and make us come to some of these parties, and went to, the first one was Delta Chi, and it was a bunch of cool guys from where we went to high school, the same geographic area.
Yeah.
And I immediately got rid of that stigma that I thought was there, and you were certainly one of those people, and became one of the best decisions I made. It was great.
I mean, because now a huge group of your friends that you roll with, like a lot, your social group, are all of those guys.
Yeah, we still keep in touch with 20 or 30 guys on a pretty regular basis, which is amazing at this point.
Yeah. I think that when you're talking about like the stigma of the fraternities, and it is probably this certain guy at most colleges, but NAU is for sure one of those places where it's just regular old guys that, and there is a lot of people that kind of find themselves from where you grew up, and I'm sure that's for everywhere, but we both grew up in the West Valley.
Yep.
You grew up a little further west, though.
That's right.
So he's a Wickenburg guy, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Parents drove me to school 40 minutes each way every day.
To Centennial High
Just
School.
to get to the big Centennial. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the
what
big city.
Did you guys? So were you born and raised in Wickenburg?
I was born in Northern California.
Okay.
Moved to LA when I was around 3 or 4. I don't really recall it candidly.
Yeah.
My sister was born there, and then we moved to Arizona when I was 5.
Okay.
And my parents really wanted horse property, and that was the most logical place to do it. And so we ended up there without a thought about what growing up would be like.
Right.
But we did have a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
once we started finding out that there was girls and all the other stuff as you get older, got much better to get in the bigger city.
You had to travel outside of Wickenburg
That's
for
right.
some of that stuff.
That's right. Hopefully nobody from Wickenburg is listening. But yeah,
Wickenburg's a great spot now. So you started coming over basically into Peoria just for high school. So you went to elementary school out in Wickenburg, and then went to Centennial for high school because you thought you were going to be a basketball player. You were a really good basketball player.
I was a good high school basketball
player.
player.
Good high school basketball player.
I stopped growing and stopped jumping and started drinking beer, and that all changed. So.
Yeah, and that legend NAU, what do you know?
That's right.
I was just telling him a story that, and I know you guys heard this too, but these guys, meaning Trisha, my sister over here, and Trey, sometimes I forget to introduce them till the end, but when Noah was a freshman, I believe, he had like a little bit more of like a direction, I think, than a lot of our other friends might have. He kind of knew what he was going to do. And I don't know if that had something to do with your upbringing or not, but he was always working hard. He had a lot going on, and he said, I'm going to go get my master's. I'm sorry, I'm going to get my bachelor's degree, and then I'm going to get my master's degree. And a lot of people don't think that way, I think, right? You just want to get out of college, and you're like, all right, I'm done, dude. I'm not going to go back to school. So let's talk a little bit about after you graduated NAU. Mm-hmm. You came down here, and did you get your master's degree right away, or what did you do?
Took about a year off. The company that I worked for at the time, straight out of school, was fantastic. They offered a tuition reimbursement program, which gave us the opportunity to go back to school while we were working. So I was a director of recruiting for a call center, technology call center here in the Scottsdale area, and they gave me the chance to get my MBA, and I wrapped up and ended up moving to California, and that's really where my career took a big change.
Is that right? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so moved to Newport Beach for about 3 years and ended up, I worked my way up, but ended up as vice president of sales for a technology firm that was right when voice over IP was becoming big.
Okay.
And so that was a great opportunity. I got to stay in New York and New Jersey for like 6 months and see the big city again and do all those cool things, training, and then came back to Newport and started running an office there. So that was really a blessing.
Did that company have anything to do with prison systems?
They did not.
Okay.
There was one that did.
Okay.
That was a few years later.
Okay, that was a few years later. I always wondered about that one. We don't have to get into that, but I remember that. So what led you into kind of like getting into what you're doing now? So, and we could talk a little bit about that because I think that's what everybody's interested in.
Yeah. So, I started that voice over P job got me really into the consulting side of the world and took a few different positions in it, but I ran a relatively large sales organization for about 12 years. Decided I could build a better mousetrap and went on my own and started another consulting firm. But that's what launched me into this. As I was making all these connections, meeting with CEOs and really affluent people from across the country, I found that many of them, big common bond that they shared was golf.
Yep.
And so I started leveraging golf to get meetings with some of these CEOs. And after doing it for about 2 years, I just found that there was a way for me to monetize what we were doing. And I saw that there was a huge gap in the golf landscape, and that's where I am today.
With Epic Golf Club.
That's right.
Right. And they got some great swag, if you can't tell by his hat.
I love that
Club.
logo.
The club, yes.
The club. I'm surprised that you guys were able to trademark that, or
Or
maybe you have
technically trademarked. I think you can just do it.
Okay,
but
cool, yeah.
But we are the club.
Yeah, that's cool. So, and I visited the office today, and it's awesome. You guys got a simulator in there, and obviously a putting green, multiple different putting mats. But I don't want to ruin the actual story about how or what it is. So why don't you just tell everybody exactly how it works?
Yeah,
in your words.
We are a private golf membership for private golfers.
Yeah.
So you do the price of poker is that you do have to belong to a private club, and it has to be at a certain level. But from that, you can join just like you would a private club, in that you pay an initiation and a dues. And once you're in, and we do have a pretty firm vetting process, but once you're in, you're able to play 850 of the best golf courses in the world, primarily here in the United States, but we're in 40 states and 11 countries globally. We have 750 members today. And then one of the neat things that we do as well, besides just getting to go play golf courses, is that we run 30 high-end events at least annually. And so we'll take over some of the most prestigious golf courses in the world, many of which are holding U.S. Opens or have held U.S. Opens recently. And our members get to go be a member for a day. And it's a fully curated experience. You get your own flight. We pick you up at the airport, and all food, drinks, caddies, transportation, hotels are covered.
So it's just members only.
Members only. Best of the best. And
dude, that's sick.
Yeah, and I joke, I get to play golf for a living, and it doesn't matter what I score to still make a living. So it's pretty
Right.
cool.
I mean, I see some of the videos online, or some see pictures and stuff, and for people that are into golf, I mean, like you said, some of the most prestigious golf courses in the world. Yeah. What are your favorite courses?
Yeah, so I mean, I've got a chance. I'm going through the journey of playing Golf Digest Top 100. I've been doing it, tracking it for 3 years. I'm currently through 60. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to love, but the two that are easy to call out, Cypress Point is my favorite place on the planet. The most beautiful walk in golf, just absolutely stunning. And then probably the best golf course that I've ever played, because they're not necessarily the same thing, would be Pine Valley, which is just incredibly challenging.
Is that North Carolina? Where is that?
That's in New Jersey.
Oh,
you fly into Philadelphia, but then you travel to New Jersey.
Okay, gotcha. So, have you played Augusta?
I haven't played Augusta yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping for that invite this year, and that might shake up the rankings a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of guys that are doing the top 100 search, and they've been stuck on number 99 for 20 years. Augusta's a tough one. So.
Well, Cypress is, I mean, besides Augusta, it's got to be one of the most difficult courses to also get on.
Yeah, I mean,
it's most exclusive.
175-ish members, and you don't just join it. There's a wait list that's 50 years long. When somebody dies, like the Pope dies, the flag goes up and smoke goes up, and one person on the wait list comes up.
So that course is basically the private course of Pebble Beach.
Yes.
Oh, you know about this? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew that it was in the
amazing.
area, but yeah. So as far as membership's concerned, you guys only let a couple people in from each course?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And why is that?
So part of what we do is a reciprocity component. So if you're traveling from New York to Scottsdale and you want to play golf, we will set you up with other members to go play so you can enjoy the same experience that they enjoy. A lot of people do mention, my pro can get me on if I want to call, but it's just not the same thing, right? You're not playing with anybody. You might get to play with a pro, you might get to play with a caddy, but you don't have somebody telling you about the history of the club. They're not walking you through the clubhouse.
Yeah.
So we really want that member for a day type of experience. That's the goal of what we do.
So there's many. So I'm sure you guys have members at every private course in town, but not every private course in town is like a destination spot necessarily, right? In my opinion, some of the best memberships aren't necessarily the destination courses.
Yep.
So say someone wants to come into town and they want to go play. Can I say names of the?
You can say them, but we're not allowed to talk about them.
Okay.
But yeah, you can.
All right. So say someone wanted to come out and play, and they were coming, and there was one member. He's like, "But I want to bring, a couple of my buddies." That's allowed, right? As long as they're playing with a member, correct?
Yeah. And so every club is different.
Okay.
And, I would use Desert Mountain, which is a great example where I personally belong. If somebody wanted to come play Desert Mountain, they could bring 2 of their friends plus themselves, and I would be the 4th, and I would host them at my club.
Gotcha.
So all the charges would end up going on my account, and then we settle up at the end. So they don't have to worry about all the minutia. Our team actually handles all that for them.
So, yeah, so you guys are like the concierge.
Yep.
Okay.
So we have a wonderful office in Scottsdale that you mentioned. 15 employees. 13 of them are working out of that office, and depending on the side of the house, we have five or 6 concierge members that are just there to make the travel experience the best it could possibly be.
So do they set up like all of the like the flights when you say the travel? Like they literally book the flights?
Everything but flight. Flights are so crazy now. Okay. Southwest cancels 2,000 a day and all these things are going on. We can do hotels. We can set up drivers. We can set up dinner reservations, hotels, all of that stuff.
Caddies, obviously.
Caddies, obviously, yeah. So everything but flights is really it. And a lot of times our guys will have a personal assistant that will manage some of the hotels and things, but whatever they want to hand off to us, we will. When we do the trips, those are fully curated. It's you step off the plane and everything else is covered from us, like as the baseline.
For example, like I know that I did one last year in Pebble in a company, it's like, they set up the tournament, so to speak, and everybody shows up, but this is like the private version of that sort of deal. So everybody flies in on their private jets, and
and so everybody with money can play Pebble, right? And
But
private jets are cool. We get to do that quite a bit, but ours is generally speaking the ones that you can't get on.
Yeah.
So it is, and I didn't really do a good job of answering the question earlier. We do limit the number of people per club, and that's part of it. We want that exclusivity.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is that we don't want it to be overloaded from one club, but also, this is good for us. We want the people that are in it to understand how special that it is, and that's one of the reasons that we've grown so quickly, and we've recently won some awards for it. So it's been really fun.
Let's talk a little bit about the beginnings, though.
Yeah.
So you had another job when you started this, correct?
Yeah, that was I was running my own boutique consulting firm. We did call center work and sales and market go-to-strategy type efforts. I wanted to do this, so I was already working. It was crazy. I just had a baby. My wife let me start that company, which is kind of scary. Go from making a good 6-figure salary to all of a sudden you're just you eat what you kill. And then I started having these crazy ideas, and she was fully supportive. So we've been married for 10 years now and have an 8-year-old boy and a 5-year-old boy. But this was all right when they were super, super young. Yeah. And so, I was already working 10 or 12 hours a day on the actual consulting company, and I started Epic nights and weekends. I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and working till 6 or 7. Then working on the consulting company, going to the office, coming home, doing it at night. So it really was kind of 20-hour days for a couple of years.
How long in the process of the start did you realize that it was going to work?
I guess working has different variations or different levels of it too, right? Like when I started this, I didn't think it was going to be anything close to what it was today. Yeah. I thought it was going to be I make a little side money and I get to go play really cool golf courses. So it was totally self-serving. When I knew that it was going to take off was in July of our COVID year of 2020. I thought the nail was in the coffin because no travel. Yeah. That's the crux. Everybody loves golf, but not everyone could travel. Nobody was traveling from February to June, and there was a chance 1 or 2 more months of that we were just going to shut down that idea. And we had some guys that had shown some interest, and I just decided to put all my eggs in one basket, and we rented out one of these nice private courses in the middle of Evansville, Indiana. It's a top 50 golf course, Victoria National, which I can say is absolutely spectacular property, maybe the hardest golf course I've ever played. And it was just it was really a pipe dream. Like, is anyone going to show up to this?
Yeah.
And if they didn't, it would have been financial ruin because I had to guarantee all this money. And it turns out they showed up. We had 68 guys that basically just said, I'm tired of not traveling. You know, I'm a A-type executive. I don't care about this anymore. Not that COVID's not real, and I won't get into any of that stuff.
Right, yeah.
Just I'm done traveling. We're going to risk it. And they showed up. They started talking about it on social media, and
were any of those guys members at this point? Or
they were members.
Okay.
But it was like, you know, they were members that all of a sudden couldn't do anything. It was just a non-existent membership. So they'd been members for maybe 6 months, but 5 of those months there was no usage of anything. So we lost probably a dozen people, and the cost wasn't very prohibitive back then.
Right.
I mean, honestly, it was peanuts to join because it was vaporware. It was like, believe in my idea.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of skin in the game because you understand that I'm hiring people and doing all these things. But from that moment on, we really took.
So you were like a huge solution for them at that moment. They're like, finally I get to do something. Thank you so much. And you're going, oh man, hope this works. I hope that they come and it's okay. And on their side, it was like, thank you, dude.
Yeah. It really was. And hopefully nobody dies of COVID and all these other things. We ended up signing waivers and all this stuff.
Really? Yeah.
So it was scary. But and then from that moment on, it was word of mouth. We've been heavily leveraging social media still to grow. Our favorite thing is referrals, obviously, from our members, but we're still trying to attract people from all corners of really the globe. So not everyone has their footprint in there yet. And so the more that we grow, the easier it is for us to grow, which is great.
I know you guys are in Mexico. Mm-hmm. You're in Cabo for sure.
Yep.
Are you guys at Dorado yet?
We do. Discoveryland doesn't really do any reciprocity.
Okay.
So we have guys that are members there, and it would maybe take you out, but they're not really interested in partnership. That's a kind of a different animal.
Okay.
One of my favorite properties there, and we're bringing 16 couples in 2 weeks to go to Costa Palmas.
Okay.
Which is on the East Cape, and if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely amazing. So the downside
that's Ritz-Carlton?
Four Seasons.
Four Seasons.
So the downside of Cabo, for everyone who's been there, is that it's non-swimmable beaches. On the East Cape side, you can wake surf, you can jet ski, you can paddleboard. It's basically a lake. It's absolutely stunning.
Okay.
There's 7 clubs within the club. They do sell real estate. They are one of our partners, and again, I would highly recommend checking them out. It kind of offers that same experience of Discoveryland, but without some of the.
So how far is that from like San Jose, like the airport? Like
yeah, I mean, so you'd take a driver probably an hour, maybe not even an hour. So it's just northeast. So relatively easy. I mean, it's just 20 or 30 minutes longer if you're really getting to that main corridor anyway.
So it's northeast.
And they are building a private airstrip that will be done in about a year and a half that will get you door to door in like 15 minutes from the FBO.
Nice. I mean, Trish?
So I realize that people...
There it is.
That's Trey.
So good.
So people were grateful to just get out and be around other people in the beginning. Has it morphed into something that has actually like created business opportunities amongst the members?
Great question.
Yeah, and so it is a great question. What's interesting is I thought that's what this was going to be at the beginning. I really visualized LinkedIn for golf, and that does happen. But one of the things that I found is that many of our guys are, they're so successful already that when they're out on these trips, they don't really want to get into it. So I know a lot of them have started kind of joint ventures from it, but it has not become the networking hub that I thought it would be. At least I don't think it is. We don't ask on that. But I know that just from the friendship standpoint, we have guys that get paired up, and I have a couple of guys I can think of right now. One lives in San Francisco, the other one's in Connecticut, and they met at that first event that I was telling you about, and they're still each other's member guests on their home clubs.
Oh, really?
All the time. So it's just
that's cool.
It's like the best of best friends because you've found this group of golfers is already one kind of community, private golfers is another community, guys that like to travel is another one, and it just keeps getting tighter and tighter. So while we have a super diverse group, when you just look at the way that people interact with each other, they're all like twins. It's stepbrothers, as we were joking about earlier.
Dude, it's guys wanting to go play golf. Yeah. We just did a trip to Indiana last year, and we went to I'm drawing a French Lick.
Yeah.
And played Pete Dye,
Yep.
Donald Ross, and then Sultan's Run.
So I have not done that yet. I heard it's spectacular, and that's really close to Victoria National. So
Yeah.
everyone's talking about just making the hour drive or whatever it is and go checking that out.
It like you said, hard.
Yeah.
Man, it was one of the hardest courses I've ever played too, because all that grass is like impossible to hit out of, and you lose your ball. It's like it's like going into a deep brush in the desert.
Yep. If caddies can't find it, you're in trouble.
Yeah, the Donald Ross. I think that's what it is. But that course was super fun. It was wide open. Sultan's Run was really good too. But it's crazy. It's a destination spot. Like all it was groups of guys staying at the local hotel casino to play golf, right?
Yeah, and that's what it's all about.
And so guys like to hang out with
Other guys.
Just go
Making
golf.
memories. And
And every so often they'll do a trip with their wife to Costa
Yeah,
Palmas.
that's right.
Yeah.
Four Seasons makes up for a lot of other stuff, right?
Were those people all friends before this, or?
A couple, there's a few pockets of them, but
Yeah.
they will be friends. So we did this exact same trip with a smaller group. And not only are the guys closer because of it, but all the wives still have a text thread going. So we had 10 or 12 couples at this first one. They still talk every day, and they have name for the group chat. And they've been talking. It's been a year, and they're literally talk once a week. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you bring your wife along on any of these trips?
So she'll go. We do 2 couples trips a year.
Okay.
So she'll come to Costa Palmas, and then we're doing a trip to Napa at the end of this year, where we get to play Mayakama, which is another top 100 course, spectacular property in wine country. And then we have some memberships at some of the wineries there. So we'll do tours. So the ladies will take like spa days and tour the wineries. The guys will play golf, and then we'll all meet up and do dinners, and then we'll all go to the wineries. So she comes to that kind of stuff, and then she helps out a lot with the charity tournaments that we do as well. So, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, but we run a 0 operating cost charity arm, and she's been very involved with that. So it keeps up. We don't have labor costs. It's just she's volunteering her time. I'm volunteering
amongst
mine,
all the other employees too.
That's right.
Well, yes, Trisha.
Are all the members men?
No. So I definitely think there's a huge growth for the female membership, but we probably have 24 female members independently, and then another 12 to 24 that are part of a couples membership.
Awesome.
So you can
and
join,
how many people do you have total?
members?
Current members, yeah.
As of today, 755.
What do you have a max?
Yeah, so one of the interesting things we're doing, so I think the max is about 1,300. We are going to closely model it, but what happens today, and I'm trying my best to throttle this, and this is my most important job. I have a lot of really smart people with me that are doing the hard work, but we get about 800 applications a month. So people that want to join Epic or want to find out more about Epic, we're only onboarding 20 per month, and we cap that every month. So if there's a wait list, it'll roll over month to month. So next year, that 20 will turn into 15, although we'll probably be getting thousands of applications at that point.
Yeah.
The year after 12 and the year after 10. And right now, we've basically had 0 attrition. So if those numbers hold true, which I expect they will, that would put us closed in 2027 to new members.
Wow. Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So how's your handicap?
I'm still not a great golfer.
Okay.
I joke. I float between a 7 and a 10. And then kind of my tagline.
Which is a good golfer.
Say, that's
It's a good
not bad.
score.
Yeah, and it's a good gambling handicap, too.
Yeah.
It's a good scramble partner. So what's your best part of your game?
Man, it changes every day. That's the worst part of my game. Some days I pound driver, and other days I can't hit it, and then some days I can putt. And
If you're 7 and 8 or 7 to 10, you're typically you've got a pretty good short game. Probably can putt decently.
Putt decently.
Yeah.
But I play world championship golf courses all the time too. If I just got to play my home course all the time, it might be better. But I'm going and playing a course 2 months before the U.S. Open when the rough is as long as my knees and trying to chop out of it. So that helps with the gambling side too.
Let's talk a little bit about your memberships locally, or not even locally. Geez, I mean, we were talking earlier. Like, I know you're a member at Desert Mountain.
Yep.
But you have multiple other memberships.
Yeah, so joined Desert Mountain 3 years ago. Had belonged to a couple of clubs here locally as well. The family just moved up there just inside 2 years ago, and we absolutely love it. It's a little bit, northernmost tip of Scottsdale, but we like the isolation, and the golf courses are just spectacular.
Are there young families out there?
Yeah, there are. Now, historically there was not, but when I joined, I think there was 55 families under 50. And now there's kids playing. There's actually a school bus stop inside of Desert Mountain. So it's certainly starting to cater to that younger crowd. And there's still older people, just like everywhere else you go. But, our spring bash is coming up pretty soon. And, we have 100 people just like me that are running around and having fun. So really love it there. But I do belong to other golf courses, and I've kind of wanted to segment them out geographically and by different style of golf course. So kind of going west to east, I belong to Lake Merced, which is in San Francisco. Just went through a Gilhan's restoration to bring it back to the original Alistair McKenzie, and it is absolutely spectacular. The bunkering is unreal. This is going to be a top course with this new redesign in no time flat.
Sounds like a golf course designer over here.
I'm learning.
I can tell.
And then I belong to a golf course in Kansas called Prairie Dunes, which is number 2 in
Where in Kansas is that?
22 in the country. You fly into Wichita,
Okay.
but it's in Hutchinson. Or if you fly commercially, it's into Wichita.
Okay.
So it's about an hour drive from Wichita. So really isolated, but they have the coolest cottages on property, wonderful restaurants, swimming pools, and all the fun things that you want out of a country club. So, this year I'll actually be, for the first time, taking my wife and kids and a few other couples. We'll stay in the cottages. They'll get to use all the amenities, and then the boys will go golf.
That's
so
sweet.
Really looking forward to that. That's going to be a long term for us as well. My 2 sons love golfing, so can't wait to get them out. 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Then the Pete Dye Golf Club in Bridgeport, West Virginia. One of the most spectacular properties on the planet. I think it's the most fun golf course on the planet. You don't have a care in the world when you're there. You're just driving through the Smoky Mountains and going through mine shafts and seeing like ore mines. It's
I actually remember
unique.
you posting about this online, that this was like the coolest place you'd ever been, greatest course. And I was
so
thinking
much fun.
West Virginia. It's not necessarily where you would think, but
Yeah, and there's no easy way to get there. I mean, there's a private airport, or you fly into basically Pittsburgh and take a 2-hour drive. But once you get there, there's nothing else that's in your way. They have a fantastic staff, great halfway house. They're playing music and putting and people hanging out, and then really good service and really good dinner and all that good stuff. And then I've only got to use it once because of COVID and other stuff on the travel lockdown, but I'll get back again soon. The new course at St. Andrews. So we have a clubhouse that overlooks number 18 at the old course, and then you get some affiliation to all the 7 golf courses that are there at St. Andrews. So again, a really neat just experience that I can't wait to share with my kids.
that one sounds amazing. Yeah.
How do the clubs themselves feel about your company, and like, do they care at all? Are they like, what the hell? Like, there's all these like non-members coming in now.
Sure. It's a great question. And so there are a couple that we've run across that did not love it. By and large, when we get a chance to communicate the why of what we're doing, they jump on board very quickly. And so, we've had this conversation. I love going, and one of my jobs now is to go and meeting with pros and GMs from these clubs all around the country to let them know our intention. I think if you look at it on the surface, and there were a few companies that did this historically that did not succeed, it was kind of a way to cheat the system. Like it was, you don't belong anywhere. You're trying to get on, buy your way in or whatever the case is to go cheat your way onto these golf courses. And that's the complete opposite of the model that we're trying to provide. And so what we think that we're doing and what we know that we're doing is we're taking a guest experience and sharing it with people that are just like you, people that, may not be your best friends yet, but we feel like once you leave that day, that round, that you're going to end up being very close. And they all have something to offer. So again, because we vet so heavily, our members have to go through, our prospects have to go through a multiple stage vetting process. We're doing background checks on them, typically getting references from other people at their club. We certainly know a bunch of people at their clubs, and we're checking in on them. We want the right person.
Yeah.
We have a 0 strike policy, really the no asshole policy. I've had to kick out 7 people, which was tough for me.
They had a rough day, maybe drank a little too much, did something dumb.
Almost always alcohol.
And then you're like, sorry, buddy.
They got their initiation check back and said good luck with everything. So with that being said, the clubs, generally speaking, love us. I think it's good for them, right? So the toughest job a golf pro has, I think, is making calls to get their guys onto another club, because now you're asking for favors, and it's really mucking up the tee sheet and all these other things. So with ours, we take the pressure off of those pros, because they can just go play with another member. So it's just them hosting the guests that they want to host. And again, people that are vetted and good people. And then when they let us take over the property for the day, it's a huge win for them. I mean, our guys, we joke, are like locusts coming through the pro shop. They'll spend $100,000 in a day. So it's a win-win
exactly.
for the club. Everybody wants, everyone wants
the swag.
The swag, that's right.
Yeah.
And if you don't spend $600, you get made fun of. I mean, it's a joke, obviously, but everyone is really buying out the pro shop. So they get to tip really well for the people that it's usually non-tipping club. So the service staff is making money, the caddies are making money, the club makes money, and it's really one day of a potential headache for the members that they don't get to play. But in many cases, we've literally purchased new pro shops or new locker rooms for the club because of how much money our group would bring to it, and then immediately the members love it. So
for you two that probably don't know this, so when you go to a club like that, the same jacket you might have been able to go get at the PGA Superstore is like 3 times more expensive because it has the thing. So you're going to spend like $350 for like a a Peter Millar pullover that says Sultan's Run on right here, but every single person does it. So like you said, it's like all day long they're making just ridiculous amounts of money. So I can understand.
Markup. And it's a badge of honor for our guys. Like they like to joke about it, and everyone has competing club head, like the head covers for their bags, and who has the best one, and it's a lot of fun. But the clubs win in there too. So I think hopefully that answers the question. That's the biggest piece. Now, are we ever going to have a situation that somebody doesn't love it? It's possible. We haven't had to really deal with it yet. But again, that's our storyline, and we stick to it. Is that it's a one-strike policy. If anything happens that isn't above board, that person's gone, and there'll be really no questions asked.
Just have a couple more questions. So, have you guys talked to any like affiliations with, say, like club makers or like TaylorMade or Titleist or like where are you guys at with that stuff?
Yeah, so we partner with we plan to partner with one brand in every category, and we now have 3, which you can find on our website. So on the putting side, we've just partnered with LA Golf. They make an amazing product. We started putting them in our office. I haven't started
putters,
gaming it yet. That's just putters.
Yeah, they make putters, don't they?
They do. Well, they make balls now as well.
Oh, okay.
And they make fantastic golf shafts. So a shaft for every club, but they don't make the club heads to the best of my knowledge yet, but they will. Awesome partner so far. We partner with Revo, which is an eyewear provider. We have a handful of clothing providers, which we're going to start to narrow that down. We have a private aviation company actually based here locally called SetJet. So they're perfect for regional travel, and then we're looking for a national provider as well. But we're in the talks with now, that we can't name them because I don't know who we're going to end up going with, but a couple launch monitor companies. So you can see the ones that you bring out onto the course to measure your distances and the ones that you put in your office just to play a game. And then the big club manufacturers will be the next piece. So we're going to pick one, and then that doesn't mean you can't play it. You don't have to play that, but that will be the brand that Epic is going with.
So that's just to provide discounts to like your members.
Yeah, it'll be value add to our members.
Yeah.
And we don't take in those cases, they provide a discount in almost every case.
Yeah.
And then we just pass it along to the members. That's not our goal. We don't want to make the 15 or 20%. We want them to get something out of it.
I just thought of another question I needed to ask you before we get into the last thing. Have you guys, like, where are you guys at with, like, maybe like a JV version of this for, like, the guy that just maybe isn't quite members out at, like, all these, like, the exclusive country clubs or just even someone who's not a member at a club and would like to go, do something similar like this? Have you guys toyed with that, or is it not even possible?
We've definitely toyed with it. So we're looking at one part of what we're doing. We're looking at the exact opposite end of the spectrum, which is your everyday weekend warrior golfer that maybe plays at the public course next to your house or the Muni. So separate entity, but still within the same umbrella. We've created an app called Golf Lync, and it basically operates like Tinder for golfers. And that if you don't belong to a private club but you want to expand your golf network, you can jump on the app and you can find people in your area that have the same preferences as you. The reason I say the Tinder component is because there is some logic built into it. So if you like to drink on the course or smoke or play music or gamble, you'll have the opportunity to meet everybody in your area that has the similar preferences. From a membership standpoint, we have certainly knocked around I don't want to call it JV, but just the light version of what we're doing. And I think it's possible, but I think what we're going to see and what I expect to see is that the top tier courses, which is who we're working with today, are going to remain exactly the way they are. That's never going to change. A lot of the other courses that don't have that super prestigious kind of history are going to end up banding together and just allow the reciprocity as it is. So I think that's good for golf. And so there probably won't be a need for a company like us in that space.
Right.
And I even think some of the work that we're doing, and this is one of the things that we always talk about, is we want to revolutionize the golf world, and I think we are doing that for the better today. I think part of what we're doing is leading to that, and I see that happen frequently where golf courses are getting together and saying, hey, look, if your members want to come to ours, we'll offer some reciprocity there as well.
So like I know, for example, like Arizona Country Club and maybe like Phoenix Country Club, I mean, there's reciprocity there, like Forest Highlands, Pine Canyon, that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. But, obviously it's probably not for the people looking to travel out of the state to go to some. It's like it's in town,
and
you
can
do
seasonally too, mostly, right? So if you're in Forest Highlands, they'll let you play in the summer, but they're
right. And I mean, Forest Highlands might have they might have reciprocity with Estancia or something, right? Who knows exactly what it is, but were you going to say something, Trish?
I was going to see if you wanted. We haven't asked I guess I just said surefire. We have not asked
They've all been surefire.
Rapid fire question in a while.
So rapid fire questions are questions you're not prepared for.
I thought I'd just throw one out there because you came from humble beginnings, right?
Absolutely.
And so was there a book or, a person, like a mentor, somebody that kind of helped you get to where you are, like an outsider?
Well, I mean, outsider, yeah. So we joked about why I wanted to go from bachelor's straight to master's. I was the first DiPasquale in America to graduate college, at least to the best of my knowledge, and we have a pretty large family on the East Coast. Both my parents are super smart and super hardworking, and they wanted that for me and then for my sister as well, who's also doing exceptionally well. So part of all of that kind of drive and the humble beginning was that they wanted me to have more. They really didn't have the opportunity to afford that, but they did give me the work ethic and here's the map if you want to go. And maybe it's not the same map for everybody, but get an education, care about what you're doing, work hard, find out what you're good at, and then continue to hone those skills. So I've had a ton of mentors along the way and a ton of people that have impacted my life. But, if I would have grown up middle class, I probably would not be doing what I'm doing today. The fact that I grew up really, and God bless them, but kind of at the bottom of it is really what pushed me to do what I'm trying to do today.
It's a great answer.
Yeah.
I would want to wrap on that, but I have one more question. I just think we need to cover the app a little bit more. Just because I know that we talked a little bit about it beforehand, and to me it's a great tool because I think if you go up, especially for the weekend warrior sort of golfer, and you're a single or you're twosome and you have to go to the golf course and then two more get thrown with you, and it can make or break your day.
100%.
So to have knowing who you're going to be playing with beforehand it's a key thing for as far as I'm concerned, because that's I won't even do it if that's the case. When I see there's only three of us and someone doesn't show up and then I got to have a single shows up, it's just it's 50-50, and we're 4.5 hours.
Probably 90-10.
Okay, seriously,
right.
and especially because they're out by themselves,
right.
And it's you're 4.5 hours with a stranger that could potentially be in your cart with you also.
Absolutely.
It's just a long time, a lot of money to spend for a gamble. Golf's already a gamble if you're going to have fun because you don't know if you're going to play well or not. But I think it's a great idea. So how far are you guys along with that?
Yeah, so it was in development for 18 months. We went live 2 months ago, max. I think we have 8,000 users on it now, but we're still in the beta testing phase. We are opening up the floodgates here soon. So advertisements will start coming out everywhere you see it. Is my expectation that we'll have over 1 million people on it within the next 12 months. Wow. And then, what it's going to do is allow you to see the person that you're getting into a 4-hour hangout with, right?
Yeah.
If you don't necessarily want to play with the guy with jean shorts, or maybe you do. Maybe you're looking for people that just wear jean shorts. I don't know, whatever that is. But you'll get to see everything about that person's bio, and then you can rate that person as well. Now, just because you didn't like them doesn't mean they're bad. So we have vetting processes that as well. But you'll know if they didn't pay their bill, or you'll know if they take 6 hours to play golf, or you'll know all these things about what they're doing, and that will give you the opportunity to let them in or not let them in.
Right.
And if you want to start a weekly skins game and you need 16 more friends because you only have 2 or whatever the number is, this is a way for you to do it as well. So
that's awesome.
What's the name of the app?
So it's Golf Lync, but spelled the link is Lync. So GOLFLYNC, all one word, .com, and you can find it on the App Store. I think it's the second one down there as well. Yep. You can find it on the App Store of both Apple and of Android.
And is it like a monthly subscription?
No, this is free.
Totally free.
This is for everybody in the world. It works just like a dating app, but you can even date on it. But it's primarily it's for golfing. We won't get too far into that part. But yeah, we really think this is going to be the next iteration for people that don't belong to clubs. You'll have your own social network within golf without having to spend the high initiation rates and monthly dues. You just go play whenever you want to play.
This is actually a really good like networking tool too. Like for like a business, you're trying to build a business. You're trying to get clients, customers, referral partners. You could set up a like a match, basically, like you said, a skins
and you
game.
Can run the games right in the app.
It's almost like looking at the website, kind of like Christian Mingle, or like
farmers only.
Yeah. Because other like Tinder, it could be anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only golfers or people wanting to become golfers are gonna do this, just like farmers and Christians.
And then again, we love it too. I think if you're traveling for business and maybe you don't have a private membership in Florida and you brought your sticks and you want to get away for one extra day, you don't have any friends in the neighborhood. Jump on the app, find a game, and go play with some people just like you.
So if it's free, is it going to be an advertiser sort of deal? Like how? So I mean, how you guys gonna make money?
Right now we're doing it to build the network. Honestly, I have a couple plans, but the plan is that I think the plan is going to present itself. That's good. But we're not going to sell advertisements for the next at least 2 years.
Okay.
We want to collect the data. We want it to be about the community first. And what I think is going to happen is that we don't even know what's going to happen, and the community is going to grow, just like Facebook has and all these other entities where networks pop up, and we do allow for groups and we allow for marketplace and all that kind of stuff. So I want it to be a very organic experience.
Totally.
And if it can grow to something that's truly special and revolutionary, then all the better. I don't want to steer it because of my preconceived notions.
Right.
One day we'll figure out how to make money on it, though.
God, I don't know if that was scripted or not, but damn good answer. You've answered this a couple times.
Once or twice.
All right, man. Well, I think we'll wrap up with that.
Hey, I got to give one more plug, though, for the charity.
Oh, I thought you did already. I thought we talked about that.
Did we? It's the most important part of what we're doing is giving back to the community. And so I'm not asking you to go donate, but just look into it, epicfoundation.us. So I guess, touch on it. 0 operating costs, but it's supporting Youth on Course, Folds of Honor, and Project Sunshine, which are 3 near and dear.
What's Project Sunshine?
So it's play-based activities for kids that are probably not going to come out of whatever situation that they're in. So it's improving quality of life.
Did you have like what made you pick these 3?
So father was in the military, and I have just a strong propensity to support our men and women overseas and their families, and I've been involved with other local charities. Youth on Course is maybe the most underrated golf charity. So there's a golf tie-in, and just to give a quick plug for them, First Tee does a great job of getting kids introduced to golf, and it's generally underprivileged kids.
Is that Tiger's deal? Or?
No, but they're all tied in.
Yeah.
But the biggest pain I think in a kid's life when it comes to First Tee is that they get them hooked on the game of golf, but then these kids can't afford to go play. And so Youth on Course subsidizes something like 3,000 golf courses across the country where these kids can go play for $5.
That's awesome.
So there's no reason for a kid not to get out and do it. So these were just three different walks of life of all areas of folks that could use our help. And our goal when we go someplace is to make it better, and this is how we're trying to do it. That's
awesome, dude. Max Homa, arguably my favorite golfer on the tour. He's
a great follow.
Huge into that. And so that's like one of his big things. He just did a podcast I just watched like a week ago. I think it was actually 2 weeks ago during the Open. And he was talking about how that's the biggest problem. You can't get kids into playing golf because it's too expensive. There's nowhere to go. But where he grew up, you paid like $15 and you could play all day long, every day, all summer. Yeah, and it was like, and the other problem is basically saying like, adults, don't be dicks. If a guy shows up with his son and they're not gonna be super fast, well, guess what? At least they've got a kid trying to learn how to play, and you're gonna have to play. Sometimes he's gonna have to pick up and stuff like that. But in order to get kids into golf, they've got to be able to play, and they have to be able to play at places that they can afford, the parents can afford, right?
And got to have fun doing it.
And you got to have fun doing it. So, Awesome. Well, we did talk about it a little bit, but you're right. We did not talk about the charities involved with that. So thank you for bringing me back. And you, dude, thank you for doing this.
Oh, my
I'm
pleasure.
super
This was
appreciative
awesome.
of it, dude. And you know, we're trying to find other things besides just real estate. And, you know, this one popped into my head just out of one day, and I just sent her a text. I was like, we're going to have this guy. And she's like, who's that? I was like, it's awesome. Don't worry. But
Then I Googled you.
yeah. So,
pretty
no, dude,
impressed.
super proud of you, man. You've done really well. Obviously, and just today alone reminded me about how smart this guy is. And you're a mature, grown man now. So
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
Crazy how that happens.
And you're going to...
And it happens fast. Right?
Yeah, and I have a feeling that you're gonna have more memberships and more clubs within the next 5 years. So
We'll come
don't
back
forget
and
the
talk
little
about it,
guys,
hopefully.
okay?
You got it. We'll get you out.
All right, thanks everybody. Remember, follow us on all the social media platforms, Into the Storm, and follow us on YouTube. Like and subscribe. We need followers. No, when we get this, share it with all your friends.
100%.
And all your followers. I mean, I'm sorry, all your members. And again, thank you, Trisha. Thanks, Trey. Appreciate it. And thank you all.